What is going on, and welcome back to the Director of Football Journeyman with me, FoggyPlays, on FM21. And today we are going to do the season review for our first season with Angers, and then we're going to look at the transfers that we're going to have made in a little bit. It's going to be fairly quick for you, but I have to hit continue a lot and see what the Director of Football is going to do after the transfers he's already made. So we've already gone through some of the transfers that have already happened in game, the random players that have been signed, and we're going to have a look before the first game of the season what else has been done. So we're going to start with the end of season review here, and then we're going to have a quick look to see what players I'd like us to, or what positions we could do with players coming in, because a lot of players are necessary for what we're going to be needing. I think there's positions we could definitely strengthen in. Potentially a lot of players that are going to end up having to leave as well. Transfers in, we did pretty decent, and Clayton has to go down as the best one of them. Pleased to see that there aren't any future fees that could end up making the deal too expensive. I think he has one where if he plays for Brazil, they get a couple 100,000, but it's not huge. The El Bilal Toure, content with the deal. He was our top scorer. How can you be content? Willem Gabels, good player without costing any money. I suppose bars wages, yes, true. De Gracca, I'm a little disappointed in him. Players out. Mbok had a pretty good season. Not really, actually. He scored 4 goals, never mind. Boufal, I was disappointed when he left, and Farassi, but after they left, we did seem to fix the whole players not liking me issue we were dealing with. The Lascaux ultimately finished where they had expected them at the start of the season, but having been in the relegation zone at one point, things could have been much worse for them. There was a point where I thought we were in a lot of trouble. We were expected to finish 13th. We got 11th. That's not terrible. We had 60% average home attendance, and El Bilal Toure, 11 goals. That's pretty decent. At one point, I did think we were going to, at best, finish like 16th, 11th. Definitely a lot better. As you can see, a terrible run of form at the start of the season. We really could not figure it out. And I think it was the Lille game. It was around here we swapped to 4-3-3. Or was it? Yeah, it was. It must have been around there. We kind of picked up from there then. 4-3-3 definitely worked for us this season. The biggest win was a 5-0 drubbing of Rennes towards the end of the season. The match to remember was our 4-1 win, our first win as Angers manager against Nice. And the goal of the season was Pedraza against Monaco. I don't remember that goal, but I can't imagine it was that good because Pedraza's goals weren't fantastic. The finances wise, club reputation has stayed the exact same. Sponsorship is up a little bit. Broadcast revenue dropped significantly. Corporate and hospitality has dropped as well. Competition prize money increased slightly, although to be fair, almost $1 million extra. Match day commercial and retail dropped as well by almost 30k. That's disappointing. We almost had $1 million in merchandising sales. 6,888 shirts were sold. Toure, Aliou, Fossum, Pereira Lage, and Emarelli, who didn't have a shirt number but sold shirts. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised by Fossum. Just 2 out of 5 there. I'm surprised by. So how did we line up? Well, obviously Clayton was our best goalkeeper. Fila, 5.65, makes it in as the best right back. Sagnan, Faresi, and Pedraza finish out the back 4. Pusic, Schallenberg, and Pereira Lage as our centre midfield. Aloui, Toure, and Gabels as the strike force. That's interesting. Definitely Fila. Wouldn't say he's the best right back. He's definitely didn't play the most at right back. The fact that Farasi makes it in, I suppose he did have quite a good average rating. So I think they're probably taking more into account his average rating than anything else that he did. Accolades, we didn't win anything but club awards. Fans player of the season was Aloui. Young player of the season, El Bilal Torre, to be fair. Like I said, he had a fantastic season. Goal of the season went to Pedraza. Top goal scorer, El Bilal. Most assists, Pereira Lage. Aloui, 7 player of the matches. Highest average rating of 7.1 as well. Competition awards, we won nothing. Record breakers, Toure, 19 goals was the most by a player in a season. He scored a hat-trick, which was also the most scored in a game and in a league game. Aloui, 8th player of the matches was a record. Pedraza, 15 yellow cards was the worst discipline. Youngest player was Cristiolo, 16 years, 198 days. And youngest goal scorer, 16 years, 221 days. So Cristiolo had a good season for himself, has to be said. The overall best 11, we don't really have anything that we can add to this because we've not played too many players. Like Bernardoni left before I arrived. Aït-Nouri left pretty much the day I arrived. Ismael Traore retired when we arrived. So we've kind of struggled. Thomas is is a second team assistant manager. He had that contract signed before I arrived. Bamba, no, he didn't retire. His contract must have run out. Yeah, his contract ran out as we arrived as well. Pereira Relation Fulingi was sold or he went on a pre-contract before I arrived. Boufal, it was sold when we were here. Babachan left when we were here. Kali left when we were here. And Aloui is our striker. I forgot we have Majstorovic coming back as well. Ali Chu, who is learning to be a left back now, because I don't really feel like wingers are the way to go. And a bunch of other players we don't care about. Season review, we've already done that. Performance in the league. So our XG was 64. We actually got 71. Our expected points was 56.2. Actually got 51, which is disappointing. Expected points had us finishing 7th when we got 11th. So what is expected for next season? Work within the wage budget, obviously. Sign players to sell for a profit. Is that one new? I think it might be. Minimum 3-year contracts for first team players. No age limit on that, which is interesting. Because I think I would prefer to build a younger squad here rather than keeping a whole bunch of oldies around. But the direct football is in control of all that. Has nothing to do with me. I can only play the players and leave out the ones I don't like. The board wants us to finish mid-table. Our contract expires at the end of next season, and the youth facilities are going to be done in October, so we'll just accept that. They want us to be a top half team from then on as well. Managerial support is on the up. Our dressing room atmosphere is good, which is fine. End of season team meeting. Let's discuss what we want to do. Come back, top half finish, mid-table. Satisfied? Exactly the kind of ambition. Perfect. It's exactly the direction I was after. We can discuss promises for next season when you come back. They're reserved. That's grand. I don't care. Everyone's reserved. Apart from Matthias Lopez, he's the only one that his morale dropped after that. I can accept that. The only player who is disappointed that we didn't throw a million different expectations at them. Team-wise, I think we're going to be improving, so there's no point in looking at that too deeply. They're coming back on the 1st of July from their little Hollyballs. And the Dijon game, we had a 0.64 XG to their 1.5, and we won by a goal. So, happy days. A whole bunch of players that have been put on the transfer list. So that is not something we need to worry about. But, like I said, when you come back for the second part of this episode, we are going to have, hopefully, had a whole bunch of transfers go through. Lack of support. We do need to find the troublemakers in here. I'm going to transfer list some of the players in the first team and just try and shift on the people that are causing issues, and then potentially bring that back to good, because I feel like if we don't, then wrong button, the board potentially lose faith in me again, and I don't want that to happen. So we will be back in just a second to go through all the different transfers that we have made. Hopefully it doesn't go poorly and we make a whole bunch of money and everyone will be super duper happy and I'll be top of the league fighting against PSG to win the title. That will be ideal. It's probably not going to happen though, but we will be back in just a second for that, so don't go anywhere. Right, fellas, we've now made it to the first game of the season. We're going to be playing Nimes, who are recently promoted, and as I said, Saint Etienne did survive. Guaranteed. Every time I say a club is going to get relegated, they survive. But we are going to have a look at the transfers that we've made, because it's been quite a busy time. As it is right now, we don't have any active or inactive transfers in, but we have a couple of players that have had offers rejected or are currently under offer from other clubs or have gone out already. So, transfer wise, let's have a look and see who we brought in. I don't think anything happened at the end of last season. No. Is everything? Yeah, so we'll have a quick look at the outs first. So, important players that have gone out on loan. Melvin Zinga was our third choice goalkeeper last year. He's gone out on loan this season. And Lucas Costa, I think, I'm pretty sure I told you about that already, because when Clayton came in, Acosta threw a hissy fit and just got dropped, really, to be fair. Matthias Lopez has gone to Ajaccio on loan. Ali Cho, one of the best up-and-coming players, has gone to Zulte Waregem on loan. And my assistant managers keep telling me to bring him back, and it's like, that's not how this series works. We don't do that. Olivier Gallet has gone to USBCO on loan for the season with 9k total fees, which I was surprised that we would have gotten anything for him, because he's still quite young. Is he? Or is he the one that's 18? Yeah, he's 18, but still, happy out. Ante Magistrovic went to Genoa for potentially 3.5 million, which is actually quite a nice amount of money. Pusic has left for Ghent. He got really angry and he left. Furtado has gone off to another loan. This time he's gone to Ajaccio. Didn't get a huge amount of games last season for, was it Le Havre he went on loan to? Le Havre. It was Le Havre. He played 5 games, so he's dropped down another division for next season. We loaned out our best up-and-coming player, Ravene. He's hopefully going to get some first-team football. Pedraza left for 7.5 million to recently relegated Rennes. So they're his problem. No, he's their problem now, not the other way around. Everton went on loan to Valenciennes. So lost another right back. He wanted first team football. I told him I couldn't guarantee it. So he has left on loan. We'll see when he comes back if anything is going to change. Larbi has gone on loan to Zaragoza as well. So he's gone on loan to Zaragoza. So I'm hoping that he gets a lot of game time this year, because he did play a full season last year in the second division, but got relegated with Dunkirk. So players we have brought in so far, we still have about 2 weeks left in the window, but we brought in Ivan Ilic from Man City. He's already picked up an injury and he's going to be out for long term. Another 2 months. I think he's already been out for like the entire summer. Pretty much the day after he arrived, he picked up his injury. He looks pretty good, so I can't wait for him to come back. Prince Reed came in. Not overly bothered about showing you him, because he's not going to get any. Not going to get any game time this year. Fabrizio Al-Astara, who came from Cittadella, he's going to be third choice goalkeeper probably. So he's left first team football in Serie B. Cittadella not getting promoted to Serie A. He's going to just have to sit this one as our third, potentially second choice goalkeeper. Aryan Kalantari, the Iranian English striker, has come in, and he's very good. He is our best striker. 9 finishing, a little disappointing, but he can do everything else really rather well. So looking forward to him getting a couple of games, see how he gets on. He is obviously super non-EU. We went and signed Casper de Nore from recently relegated Brescia, who signed him for 2.1 million part exchange. We paid 1.6, potentially going up to 2.2, so they might make a profit off him if everything goes according to plan for them. He's going to be one of our right back / left back options for the rest of this season. We also signed Derek Kutesa, who is from Saint Etienne. My director of football decided we needed a winger, so that's what he did. He brought in a winger who was not very good to begin with. Paid 700k, potentially going up to just shy of 1 million. Saint Etienne paid nothing for him, and he played 5 games, and then we went and just shoveled a load of money at him. So don't expect him to play a huge amount of games. Irvin Dunfak has joined us from Gwangwamp, from their second team. Played a couple of games in the first team last season. He has potential to be a decent left back, so we're hoping that he can do something at left back. I don't expect him to get a huge amount of games this year because we still have options at left back. We still have Norrington Davies, so he's probably the first choice. Milan Tudor is a Chilean who came from Universidad Católica, but he's picked up a knock as well, so we're not going to be using him for the time being. He's going to be in our B team. He has 3-star potential. According to my scouts, he was a bit higher rated. Never played a competitive game of football in his life, but he's part Croatian, so I think he doesn't count as non-EU. So he might actually get some opportunities in his career with us. Jordan McAllister came from Cardiff Met Uni, which was interesting. He's potentially 3-star. He's played 7 games for Cardiff Met Uni in his career. Comes in as an option at right back, I guess you'd say. He's our 6th best right back. I'm not expecting huge from him. He's got a recommendation of 47. I don't understand why the director of football does this. Why he's just bringing in random players who aren't very good. Like, he's Northern Irish, but he's played in Wales. So that was the thing as well. The director of football did like a month where he was like scouting the Euros, basically just countries that were playing in the Euros, and he scouted Ireland, basically kind of the UK and Ireland. He scouted for a while, so we had a bunch of Irish, Northern Irish, English, Scottish, and Welsh players. Mostly everyone other than the English players were coming up as players that were being scouted. And then the last month or so, it's been just like South America constantly, just bam, 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 lots of South America. As you can see, like Milan Tudor, he came in from Chile, but it's the director of football, and whatever way my scouts are setting them or getting set up, we're just getting an awful lot of foreign, like specific countries for like vast periods of time. And it's very strange. But we're after bringing in Xavi Quintela as well from Getafe, who's a left back / centre back. Probably going to be more likely to play as a left back, but Getafe paid 925k in total for him, kept him for 2 decent seasons, and then we paid 4.1 million, potentially going up to 7 or 5.75. So we paid a lot of money for him, and I'm hoping that things work out well for us. We are going to continue with the 4-3-3 this year because we don't really have much in the way of wingers, because obviously it wasn't something that we kind of focused on. So like Kutesa is really our only winger. Other than that, then like Fila can play at right wing. Sakiri can play there as well. Stankovic, not really. Emirelli kind of can. Kalantari, I don't want to have him playing out in the wing. Pereira Lage can play as a winger as well. But like other than that, you'd have to go into like our B team and our second team and our under 19s. And even there's not a huge amount of players that are going to be able to play as decent wingers. We would have to like see about recalling Ali Cho. Like I said, not a huge amount other than that. Like Laharbi would be our other option at right wing. 'Cause as it is, we only have like 2 players that can play there. And they're but we don't have a huge amount going on other than that at the moment. Like I said, there's a couple of players here that have offers for them. Sagnan has had so many offers this year. At one point, I think they went up to like 7 million and they were getting rejected, which I'm quite happy with. This guy is not very good and he is leaving at some point, choosing between these 2 clubs. And Aloui has had 6 million offers and a 6.25 million offer from Russia, Italy, and England. So we have to wait and see how it gets on. Portsmouth must be in the championship. Wigan did survive last year, but they're already after losing their first 3 games this season. Who have they played? Cardiff, QPR, and Brentford. They have not done very well at all. Have they? So they've not sold anyone. They brought in a whole bunch of random players. Who did they release? Oh, They released a lot of players. Very good. Connor Wickham got released. That's sad. Lyle Taylor's gone as well. Oh. So yeah, in the next episode, we're going to be jumping in to take on Neems and potentially Len, depending on how long the episode is, because there's not going to be more transfer news in the meantime, because we've just done a roundup of what's happened so far. We still have time left in the window. Like I said, we have transfer window. We have 3 weeks and 2 days, so we actually have a decent amount of time. Our biggest signing is a left back. Our biggest sale is a left back. PSG did buy Kai Havertz and sold Moussa Dembele. They only just signed him, and they've sold him to Sporting at a huge loss. Of course they have. Sporting, speaking of the Devils, where did I could have just... They sold... No, I'm looking at released players. They sold Aaron Connolly to Dijon for 1.7 million. Massive loss. 4.6 million of a loss. Never played, or played one game for Sporting. Went on loan to Celtic, played 28 and scored 18. Absolutely bossed it. And now he's playing for Dijon. So we're going to get to play against an Irish international this season at some point. But yeah, that was one that popped up, and I found that interesting because that was unexpected. But yeah, PSG have obviously just been smashing it with the signings they're making this year. Just paying a whole bunch of money for good players. And Marseille are signing, so are Joria. It just kind of shows. Like, Toulouse have made their biggest signing is a free transfer. And then PSG they're spending 104 million on Kai Havertz. At least Moranchuk is gone, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. Sensei is gone. Hadji's gone. There's a lot of players actually after leaving France. I hadn't realised. Fantastic. We've less to worry about now. We are sitting 5th in the club or competition reputations, which is fine. England are still number 1, but I think PSG won the Champions League last year, if I am not mistaken. They did. Atletico Madrid beaten in the final. Jadon Sancho with the goal. France doing the business. So in the next episode, we're going to come back and we are going to look at the first and potentially second game of the league season. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends, and I will see you in the next one.